An MP for St. Boniface, St. Vital. Now, Raquel Dancho has been listening in, the Conservative Member of Parliament for Kildonan and St. Paul, and we wanted her take on yesterday's announcements in the throne speech. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So we know your party's Deputy Leader, Candice Bergen, says the Conservatives will not support this speech. What are the key reasons why not?
Just right out of the gate, Marcy, I'd like to respond to a comment Minister Vandell had made previously in the media, blaming other levels of government, the province, for long-line COVID testing. And I just wanted to address that because the problem lies with the federal government approving more tools so that provinces can provide these at-home testing that other countries in the world have done. The fact of the matter is the federal Liberal government is lagging behind, months behind, in fact, countries like Japan, Germany, to allow for at-home rapid testing. And that really is the key to ensure Canadians can get back to work, kids can get back to work.
Yeah, we've had a full interview actually earlier this morning about the tests and the concerns about testing from all different points of view. But I just want to return to the throne speech. Why are the Conservatives not supporting it?
Well, it's things like this, Marcy. They should have had a plan to implement rapid at-home testing, and they don't. That's nowhere. And I would like to say as well about the throne speech, look, the Liberals shut down Parliament 6 weeks ago for this, and yet there's nothing really new announced. There's no strategy of how to get the economy back to where it needs to be, nothing really about at-home testing. So it's pretty disappointing that they shut everything down to avoid the WE scandal for this speech when there was not a lot new in there.
You're saying there's nothing for the economy to get back to where it needs to be, but they did announce a promise to create over 1 million jobs, and they did announce the extension of some of the benefits to businesses so they can manage to get a foot. What more would you like to have seen, or what specifics were you waiting for that you didn't hear?
Well, yeah, I think you're referencing the wage subsidy, which is great for large-scale employers, but it does nothing really for small employers. I have many, particularly women-owned businesses in my riding that do not qualify for the wage subsidy, and I've written to the Minister of Employment about this on several occasions, and they have not made any commitments in this speech to improve the wage subsidy so it's more accessible for small employers, particularly women-owned businesses.
What else would you have wanted in this speech? What would it have taken for the Conservatives to support it in your view?
Well, again, we wanted to see something with rapid at-home testing. We believe that is the key to getting the economy back to where it needs to be. Just think about it. When people are not able to visit their elderly parents or send their kids to school safely or go to work, rapid at-home testing would be a key to that, and they barely talked about it in the throne speech. So that's a huge concern to us. As well, we know that the debt burden that the Liberals are putting on future generations is incredible. We've heard from the Parliamentary Budget Office that it is just not sustainable over a 2-year period, and we're hearing that there's no end in sight for the Liberals for this insane level of spending, and it needs to be a bit more strategic. There wasn't a lot of strategy of how we can invest in existing jobs, existing industries like agriculture, manufacturing, the energy sector. There was nothing really tangible for these industries that are suffering, and these are existing jobs in existing industries that we can invest in, and the Liberals aren't looking to that. Instead, they're wanting to build batteries for electric cars. Pretty disappointing.
Were there any parts of what was announced yesterday that you were happy to see, that you do approve of?
It's just the Liberals have been announcing a lot of these things for 5 years, and in fact for almost 30 years. If we talk about pharmacare, for example, they've been talking about this since the 90s when I was a child, and it's yet to come to fruition. So it doesn't give me a lot of hope that they're actually going to follow through on a lot of this. It's really easy to say it. Minister Vandell before me talked about better health care. Well, the premiers traveled to Ottawa. Our Premier, Brian Pallister, traveled to Ottawa last week. The provinces are asking for increased health transfers, and yet in this speech there was nothing about that.
The question though was about if there was anything in the speech that you did approve of, and you brought up pharmacare. So I'm just wondering, is that but you said you don't feel confident that they'll put it through.
No, I don't. I think the Liberals have been announcing a lot of this for their 5 years in government, but also for almost 30 years, and it's not come to fruition. So I don't have a lot of faith that they're actually going to follow through, and that's the disappointing part. And the provinces have made clear what they need. They need greater health transfers, and that was nowhere in this speech. Provinces know what's best. I discount the Ottawa knows best approach. I don't think that's the right approach. Provinces resoundingly came out against this throne speech last night, saying, whoa, this is our jurisdiction. We've told you what we need. There was nothing in the throne speech about what they asked for. It's disappointing.
Without support, an election, of course, that could be triggered. Is your party prepared to send Canadians to the polls during a pandemic?
We've said that we are prepared for an election if we need to. It's not our priority, but we are disappointed that Parliament was shut down. All investigations were shut down for 6 weeks for this, and there's not a lot to feel inspired or confident that they can handle this pandemic or the economic recession we're in. And so, yeah, we're prepared to go to an election, but it's not necessarily our priority.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's Raquel Dancho. She's the Conservative Member of Parliament for Kildonan St. Paul.